Hey everybody, it's Mark T here, and you've probably noticed my lack of videos, even for December and Christmas isn't here yet, but it's still my favorite time of the year, holiday-wise. In any case, I decided this year to do something special that I will not flake on, which is, originally my idea was, much like many YouTubers this year, doing a video from the 1st of December to the 25th of December, which is Christmas. But I realize it's hard to keep thinking of like original ideas for videos to do for, 25 days. That's a lot of time you need to put in thinking about them and making them fresh and interesting, and I don't have that time. So what I am doing is 5 videos, starting on the 21st, ending on the 25th. Each one of them is discussing, it's not like, it's just, sorry, it's discussing stuff that I really care about. I'm not going to spoil any of them, but it's stuff I have a lot of things to talk about. Nothing personal, nothing crazy or silly or whatever. It's literally just talking about the things that make me happy and that I enjoy, and yeah. Now you might be wondering, what is this video? Just a trailer? Just, expect it? No, it's I decided it'd be a waste just to do a sort of like trailer. Hey, something's coming. So I decided to make this both a discussion on the 5 Christmas days, or the 5 days of December that I want to make special videos, and I decided to talk about something that means a lot to me. Now, if you've been following this channel for a while, you probably know that I am a big fan of comic books. But what you didn't know is that only, I only started collecting comic books when I was in my 20s. As a kid, I grew up with them. I like them. It's like, they're good. They're fun. I enjoy them a lot. But they were never really my thing. And when I started getting into manga and anime, I started liking that a lot. And I think it's just because manga is so much easier to stay with coherently. Like, you can go from volume 1 to volume 2, and it's just like a straight chronological order. The art will never change unless the artist for the manga like start trying to improve and make it look better. But that is essentially why I prefer manga over comic books. But when I turned around 21, my best friend, who you see on Beware of Zombies, he and I started discussing something, and he mentioned that um, Ben 10, one of my favorite cartoons when I was younger, was a, like, the creators of it were also fans of this comic book that has a very clear sign of inspiration for it, which was Dial H for Hero. And I got super into that, and ironically enough, the New 52 of DC comic books made a new run of that comic. I have the entire run. It's the first like singular issue comics I collected on a consistent basis, and I loved it. And since that day, I've collected a lot of comic books, as you probably saw in my office um, video. But here I'm here to talk about my favorite comic books of all time. And while it's often considered that you should probably just have one that's your all-time favorite, I actually have 3. So let's get started. So first, I'm going to talk about one you probably already know, and it is this guy, Howard the Duck. Now, I love Howard the Duck, but I'm going to be honest, I haven't read a lot of his other runs. I have an omnibus about like his first appearance through like quite a while, and he's got a very interesting history both in the comics and outside of them. But this is my favorite run of Howard the Duck, and it is the comic book that made me want to read more of like the original Howard the Duck. This is Howard the Duck by Chip Zdarsky and Joe, I believe you pronounce Quinones. I hope I'm saying that right. And it is I believe it's like 15, 16 issues. I honestly cannot remember. It's been a while. but it's a lot of issues. This is the omnibus version, by the way. I bought it, I read it, and it became one of my favorite things, to the point where I have a plush Howard the Duck based on this design, just right there, right in the corner I'm pointing at, and at some point I'll show you that later on. But yeah, like, it immediately won me over. It was basically a anthropomorphic duck, and I'm a big fan of like DuckTales and Scrooge McDuck, so like that really, got me into it. But the fact that he was a detective, which if I hadn't mentioned, at one point in my life I wanted to be a detective. Nothing ever ended up coming from that, but it was just a dream, and it's still something I have genuine interest in to this day. So immediately sucked me in. The artwork is fantastic. This cover alone, just amazing. Just amazing. I even have made a replica of the, sorry, no, I can't tell, of this mug that I will show you right now since it's on my desk. Yeah, made a replica of his mug, and I drink tea from it. But yeah, like, just such a good story. It's basically just Howard the Duck, almost a monster of the week kind of thing, but he has a lot of adventures. He even meets Galactus, and just, if you like Howard the Duck, pick up this omnibus, because I swear it is one of the most worthwhile purchases I ever made. I also own this entire thing in issues too, so yeah, that's it. And before moving on, just a brief intermission. This came out very recently. This was the Howard the Duck 50 years of Howard the Duck. The same people that did the omnibus did the art for this comic book. And if you want it, or if you're already a fan of Howard the Duck, or you want like a cool, just funny start to it, because this isn't a series. I think this is just like a singular issue, unless they're planning on making this a new series again. I don't know, but I'm assuming this is just a one-shot to celebrate Howard's like 50 years. So yeah, definitely pick that up. I picked this up last week. So moving on from the Ducks, go to a comic book that I have loved for many, many years. Now, I started off, like, when I started collecting, I was kind of unusual with the comics I would pick. I picked, due to the fact that these were the comics I actually read, I picked Simpsons comics, and I picked Sonic the Hedgehog comic books. And I collected those consistently over time. But this book in particular, as well as its company, still surprises me to this day. Now, this comic book is called Five Ghosts. So we have our main character named Fabian Gray, and through an accident with just a stone, he gets 5 stones embedded in his chest that give him the ability to use powers of five special history or fantasy or like just fiction characters. So yeah, as you can see in the back, he's got Sherlock Holmes. I'm assuming that's Merlin. That's Robin Hood. Got Miyamoto Musashi and Dracula, I guess. Currently, there are only 3 trade paperbacks, which I own right here. Yeah, come on. Nope. There it is. Yeah. And honestly, like, there's nothing more I could say. These are comic books that genuinely like won me over. They feel so like classic, old school, like action movies, action adventure kind of movies, and it's so fascinating and so well done, and just I'm very sad that they stopped after the 3rd trade paperback, but I hear sometimes they might be bringing it back, and if they do, I'll definitely start collecting it again. Unfortunately, I have no issues of this. I just have the trade paperbacks, but I think that's good enough, and yeah, if you're curious, like, look into them. Sorry if I'm not giving them like a great explanation. I really do love these comic books, and they're very like pulp novel, like Indiana Jones, and so on and so forth. The last comic book we'll be talking about is Camelot 3000. Now, I am not a huge like Arthurian lore buff. I know very little. The most that I've seen was the musical Camelot, which is a fantastic movie in general. Any fans of Atop the Fourth Wall have probably heard, but really good movie. And for the hell of it, after just seeing this on the shelf at a comic book store I used to go to, I'm just like, let's give it a shot. Camelot 3000 is a comic book that is essentially King Arthur waking up in the future, regaining his round table of knights, and facing off against Morgana once again. It is one of the best comic books I have ever read. And I have a lot of comic books that I've left unfinished, but I know a comic book really grabs my interest when I can't put it down. I put it down maybe to do something else, eat lunch, whatever, and then I pick it right back up and I read through it. And it is the truth for all three of the comic books I've shown you today. These are some of the absolute best comics I could suggest. So if you're curious at all about the comic books I've talked about today, please take a look. They are genuinely worth your money and genuinely worth your time. Anyways, that's it for today. I will see you all on November 1st. Not literally, because I'm making a video. But until then, see y'all later.